Good afternoon. It is now 12 o'clock. We are calling the organizational meeting of the Economic Development Authority to order for Tuesday, January 17th. Please call roll.
Corkin.
Here.
Black.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Helms.
Here.
Grindy.
Here.
Blair.
Here.
Heck.
Here.
Yep.
Thank you. First item of business is reading or getting Mr. Black to again reaffirm his oath to the, so I'm going to have him stand up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name,
I, Daniel Black,
hereby accept the duties
hereby accept the duties,
as a member of the East Grand Forks Economic Development Authority,
accept the responsibilities by the East Grand Forks Economic Development Authority,
and do solemnly swear
and do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the state of Minnesota,
and Minnesota,
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
and discharge the duties
and discharge the duties
as a commissioner for the city of East Grand Forks,
as a commissioner of the city of East Grand Forks,
county of Polk,
County of Polk,
state of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment
to the best of my judgment,
and ability to do so, so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next, what's that?
Thanks.
The next item of business will be the election of the EDA president. Do we have any nominations for president?
I nominate Josh Grindy.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that nomination.
Do we have any other nominations?
Dale Helms.
I can't. Move nomination cease.
Nominations have been called to cease by Commissioner Blair. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Daniel Black. Since we have one singular nomination, we'll do it by call. Do we have an affirmative vote for Josh Grindy to be the EDA chair? Please call.
Larson.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Are you abstaining?
Yes.
Corkin.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thanks, buddy.
Congratulations. I'll turn over the meeting to
No problem.
Mr. Grindy.
Thank you, everyone. All right, could you please call roll?
Oh, no,
You have to do
down to the
two.
vice president.
You have to
gotta
go
do
back
it.
to the other one.
Go back to the other.
See, I can't do this.
Oh, yeah, you can.
This is why we made you president. You've got to learn.
Until you get it right. Until he gets it right.
Purpose.
Josh, you'll have
You
no
only
problem.
did it
You'll have
once.
lots of people telling you how to do it.
All right, Vice President of Economic Development Authority.
I don't remember who it was. Who was it? Was it
The
Daniel?
incumbent vice president is Mr. Black.
There you go. I'll nominate Daniel.
I'll second that. Please,
Move nomination cease.
thank you.
Woo, woo.
Call roll, please.
You need a second on the...
I did.
Second.
Josh seconds.
Josh,
Okay.
on the motion to close.
Oh, second again.
No,
second.
someone else.
I'll
Ben
second that.
seconded.
There we go.
Larson.
Yes.
Black.
Abstain.
Blair.
Yes.
Grindy.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Corkin.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Well, welcome, Daniel,
Yes.
to round 2 of today.
Yes.
Thank you, Daniel.
Well, look at it. Last year, you never even had to fill in once for him, did you?
No, I didn't actually.
That'll be different this year. I'm going back,
Oh, okay.
so be ready.
Got it.
I'm going back to tournaments. Okay, Secretary of Economic Development Authority. Do we have any nominations? I'm going to go with Mr. Horkin.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to close nominations.
Motion to close.
Second.
Thank you. Please call roll.
Okay, just a second.
Sorry.
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Gurney,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Horkin,
Abstain.
Helms,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll move to adjourn the organizational meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Call roll.
We don't need to vote.
We don't need to?
Just voice vote.
Okay, now we got to open back up, right?
Just all in favor?
Just voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're opposed?
No.
You want it.
Motion carries.
Now, if you had voted for yourself, you could have had asked a motion to reconsider.
Well, you tell me that
didn't-
before,
You
Paul.
didn't
Too
do
late.
that. Too late now.
Thanks,
Okay,
everyone.
now we can call, open for a regular meeting.
Yes.
Call roll, please.
It's for me.
Larson,
Here.
Black,
Here?
Blair,
Here.
Gurney,
Here.
Heck,
Here.
Horkin,
Here.
Holmes,
Here.
Helms. Okay, 24.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our 2023. Approved minutes from November 22nd, 2022 regular meeting.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Perfect here. Bills and communication. Review accounts of payable December 6th, December 20th of 2022, and January 3rd of 2023. And I did not look at them because I was fishing. Any questions? We have approval
We don't need to.
of accounts payable.
We do have B.
Oh, January 17th, I missed that. No, we are in 2023 again. Okay, approval of accounts payable January 17th, 2023.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, you have to
Opposed?
roll call.
There's money.
There's money, so
Oh,
it's
yeah, that's right, it's money. Please call roll.
Larson,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Gurney,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Horkin,
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Reports, delinquencies, Paul, nothing, huh?
No delinquencies, that's correct.
Okay, financial reports, November 22nd and December 2022 and December 2022.
Thank you, Mr. President. Everybody was emailed each fund activity for November and December, and in the packet is the cash balances for November and December. And if you look at the December one, Fund 620 is in the negative, and that is because we do a transfer at year end, so we just, and transfer whatever the dollar amount is. We do have a budget from the general fund to pay for that. And so we just finished year end, and we will be doing lots of work with the year end with transfers and adjustments to accounts and accounts payable and with getting everything ready for the audit. So hopefully you'll see that in Well, in January it'll be zero, because there shall be a transfer. Any questions on that? The other one that always has an adjustment is the housing and lot sale, and because the rebates on tax for, oh no, they're not rebates, they're, tax rebates.
It's a tax rebate.
Property tax rebates for new homes comes out of that account and was approximately, I think it was like $67,000.
60, 70,000.
Some of that, so that adjustment will also be made against the Fund 280. Otherwise, all of the other funds,
You'll pull that out of 280, Carla?
yes. And then the other funds, really, we don't ever have to touch for anything. So the only thing you'll see difference in, and I'll send you a year-end in December when it's completely done with the audit. And the only adjustments you will see is in the Sunshine Terrace that there's depreciation. And that's not in November and December. Other questions?
Any other questions for Carla? Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Directors' reports, November of 2022 and December of 2022.
Reports are attached, a lot of work on workforce, a lot of work on childcare, working with a couple of businesses that either may want to expand or to locate here, small businesses. In particular, I would draw your attention to the report, the annual report from AE2S on the social media analytics. You see that we're up over 100 additional followers for the year. And it's slightly under the amount that was budgeted for last year. It's actually down $2 from what was spent in 2021. We're saving money
Is that just because it,
because we changed the person.
okay,
Because Taylor left
Yep.
and was replaced by a person who wasn't paid quite so much. And
yeah.
And nice job, Brian, you were one of the highlights of the year.
Yeah,
Your
the
fam-
July, the uptick in July was huge.
Uptick, yep, that was great.
Brought in a lot of the fun, right?
That Larson
So once we
family,
have time to do that again?
yeah.
So
New
we
family
will uptake,
pictures,
I think you have
you know.
another one, yeah.
Bring them in, yep. However I can help, guys. Here to serve.
And we've received the or actually, Northwest Minnesota Foundation has received the applications for the Main Street grants, and Mr. Larson and I are both on the review committee. We are currently reviewing the applications, and on February, we need to finish that up, I think, by the 27th, right, Brian?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we were slightly under the amount of dollars that could be handed out was $425,000.
421,000, and it's slightly under that, so they're still accepting applications that can follow.
Yeah, that's important to push out there, is that we have less applications than money we have to hand out.
Now,
There's dollars available.
with that application, is there each business has to allot what their project is and then a percentage of that? Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah.
Yes.
So if their project isn't large scope enough, they can only earmark so many dollars for that, is that?
30%.
30%, okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody asks for less than 30%, you're
We
not gonna
didn't.
make up a difference
Oh, we
based
could,
on money that's left?
you
can't
could, but
give
I don't
more?
believe anybody asked for less than
This
30%.
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen the applications. I've just seen the total the total pot of money allocated to East Grand Forks. The total value of our asks is less than that pot of money.
Okay.
And so some of the good news that came out of that meeting was we're going to continue to open it up and allow applications until we can at least dole out
Okay.
all the money.
The
in East
money
Grand
is
Forks.
used,
That's
hopefully.
what I was wondering,
Yes.
if there'd be a second round or,
We'll
Well,
figure
it
it out.
still remains open.
Yeah.
So you can just go on to the Northwest Minnesota Foundation site and continue to apply.
So then, after you guys kind of figure out where those dollars are going, what's the timeframe of the payback with the, is that
We-
money allocated to East Grand Forks
We
directly right
meet,
then?
we meet on February 2nd to discuss, and then the Northwest Minnesota Foundation meets the following Friday.
Yeah.
and they will actually be taking care of it and the money at that time. So they'll be working with the businesses on when the money gets transferred to the businesses. If I remember correctly, it's a reimbursement program, so the businesses will have to spend and then get money back.
They always are, unfortunately.
Yeah, receipts and
Yeah.
payables and all that. yeah.
So,
Was that, that money was to be used for upgrading, correctly? It's
it
not,
could be used for upgrading, it can be used for facades, it can be used for expansions, it can be used for a lot of different things, Dave.
It's not a broad
but it can't be
scope.
used to
Very broad.
open a new business, right? Or can it?
I'd have to look back, I don't remember. Do you remember? I don't remember on that.
Yeah, I don't either.
often-
That's why I was hoping one of you guys would
I
remember.
think that you could look closely there, if you wanted to open up another office, you know,
Okay,
it would fit that.
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
yeah, what you'd be doing is you'd be renovating, doing improvements for that office anyway.
Yeah,
So you'd be
exactly.
covered for that part of it.
It could be,
Okay.
I would think.
But if it was money for a brand new entity, I don't think it was
I don't think so either.
available for that.
Yeah, well, you'd have to look
I don't
closely.
remember.
It's pretty
I'd have to look
broader
back
than
at
I
the
thought
rules.
it would be.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to me I kind of remember something like that, but I
Yeah.
don't remember for sure.
The links are on our economic development webpage,
Okay.
so people can still go in and look at that.
But we do need to get the message out, is there's
Yeah.
40,000 or so that needs to go to an East Grand Forks business or a series of businesses that we need applications now. After the deadline is closed, it's still open till we can hand out all the money.
Okay.
We don't want to give it to another community. Bemidji's
Right.
Bemidji's getting $2 million out of this, and we're only getting 400,000.
And the application is strictly online, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But Bemidji, on the original application, opened it up to basically the whole city, and the whole idea was to do the Main Street. And for us and for Monoman, we both focused on a corridor, so there is a difference in the way the grant was approached. So what's happened is for us, it's basically everything that's north of the Red Lake River is eligible. Okay? Brian, tonight, maybe we can remember to mention it at the city council meeting, too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to provide an update.
And if it's online, I mean, if somebody's, doesn't like doing things online, they can check with you, Paul, and you can help them go through that, or?
They can do that, or it's better if they actually call the person at the Northwest Minnesota Foundation who will work through that application,
Okay.
because I'm sure they can print it and talk with them directly, too. Because we're not handling the dollars.
Okay.
It's all being handled through the Northwest Minnesota Foundation.
That's just sometimes people are kind of intimidated if they have to do it online, so.
So those are two things that are going on. I have one more thing. I'll just take this opportunity now. On February 16th, mark your calendars for that, starting at roughly noon, is the annual intergovernmental retreat that we host with the chamber. That will be held at the American Legion.
Say that date again.
It will be on February 16. I believe that's a Thursday.
And what time does it start?
It'll start about noon.
Where did you say it was?
American Legion. Okay.
Just have one quick question back on that program, Paul, when you said that Bemidji had opened it up to like the whole city, not just a corridor. Is that part of the reason that why they got more money?
Yes, that's exactly why they got the money.
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
they had more money, when this thing came to us, the dollars were already allocated
Yeah.
to those three communities.
They took the sweeping view that the business route all the way through the city was supposed to be part of what they did, and then they also did the other routes where you go into Bemidji from the other entrances from the freeways. So they had a very expansive territory that they included. For us, we focused on 220 north from US2, and I think that was accurate based upon the instructions we were given for the application. Monoman did basically the same thing we did with the corridor for the street going through the middle of Monoman and the White Lake?
White Earth.
White Earth.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, the curiosity of it is that if we didn't set that boundary, would have they allocated more dollars?
If we had,
Because I know that in the area that you allocated, there's no business south
okay,
of the river, really?
that's not as much as we originally asked for.
Okay.
Because Deed did not have as much dollars as they needed. The Department of Employment and Economic Development did not have as many dollars as there were for all the regional agencies who were asking for money. So the monies were reduced, and everybody was reduced proportionately. Okay?
I'm just curious if we didn't set a boundary then, kind of like Bemidji did, what if they allocated more dollars to us, which we kind of get.
Had we asked for more dollars originally, we asked for $600,000 or $700,000.
No, I wasn't
Something
involved
like
at that point.
Originally.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember exactly, but we asked for more money and it was reduced. Everybody was reduced proportionately.
So it's north of the Red Lake River?
Yes,
Anything north, which covers most everything,
yes.
except
Yeah,
for,
and that's- and
except for a
that's-
few on the point there.
Yeah.
But we're an industrial park too, so.
Right,
I mean,
right, so it's basically Orton's.
Oh,
That's,
yeah,
And you have to be
that's the only-
located-
You know, it's really the only one
Yeah,
that's not
we're fine.
covered. And if you looked at Bemidji, they have many more businesses than we do.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just curious if we didn't set that boundary, then if our boundary's
Right.
bigger, do they do it based on like a square footage boundary area? Or, because we typically set it to hit the businesses, which is the right thing to do, but I was just curious if that's why Bemidji got more money, because they just said, oh, they went so many square miles or whatever.
It's a valid question. I thought the same thing.
they have more business than us too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big
at
town.
the end of the day,
Right.
so.
But even if we had taken the whole city, I don't know that we would have asked for that much money. Because originally what they asked for is for us to match it too.
Oh.
So we put in a certain amount, we had a certain amount pledged out of EDA revolving loan funds to match it, so that there was a restriction by the amount of funds that we had available, so we had to fit it within that. Sure. And the program was changed to be a 100% grant program at 30% of the value of the project. So it's not
And
the
not
same
thinking,
project.
and I didn't bring that up thinking that we should have done it different or anything, just curious of, did that
Yeah.
help Bemidji? And
I've been looking at their website, and it does not appear that they limit it to existing businesses. It just says grants cannot be used for the purchase of real estate, purchase of business operations,
Yeah.
or business operating expenses. There's
That's what I
nowhere
lost
that
in
it
real
says
estate
purchase.
in anything that I saw that they had to.
But I think that's kind of, I mean, that would be to open a new business like what he asked.
But if you
couldn't
needed
use
to-
it to purchase it, but you could
Use it to put your new sign up or things like that.
But it's good for design work too.
Didn't you have a list in here of ones that have?
No, I don't believe so. Because I'm not allowed to include that in here.
Yeah, I
thought
haven't
I
seen
saw
that yet,
something.
so.
Brian and I have seen it, but I'm not allowed to, we're not allowed to share that information.
Okay.
And that goes back to state regulations that we can only talk about, we can only ultimately talk about approved applications, not everybody who applied.
Correct.
I will
Okay.
point out also, Bemidji is has almost twice as many dollars requested as they have available.
Oh.
Okay, so there was a lot of interest from theirs, from their businesses to take advantage of the program.
Goes back to Brian's point, we gotta get the word out, this is a no-brainer for business
Yeah,
owners.
Exactly.
yeah. And we do, you know, we went
30%.
door to door downtown and hit up, I don't know, 25 businesses.
And I've already talked to another business that may apply for what the balance is too, for more, they'll actually apply for more than the balance, but they may be limited to whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because they were looking to apply for that too.
Mr. Larson, do you have any more of those flyers left? Or did,
I believe I do, yeah. Let's see if I can dig them
I'd like
up.
to get one, or maybe you have some, Paul. Do you have some upstairs?
I don't know that I have any left after I gave them all. I think I
Probably can go on the
have
website and print them.
Yeah, we could.
Is the industrial park included out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's
like
all
it.
north of Red Lake River, so.
Not true.
Okay.
Just trying to think of what's going on over here with.
Yeah. Well, it's not a perfect fit for everyone. Like, if you don't want to have a project and pay the other 70%, that's fine too, right?
Yep.
No, it's just too bad, because I think Horton's wanted to do some improvements, or they've talked about doing improvements, and they're not in the zone.
Right.
Okay. Anything else on that? Everybody good? Thank you, Paul. All right, business, 2023 AE2S, contract for social media.
It's just slightly about $600 above the contract for 2022, and I think we've been getting good service working with them, and I would ask that it be approved.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
No, it's money.
Oh, it's money again.
Please, roll call.
Roll call, sorry. I'm busy reading here.
Dale or Ben?
No.
I made the motion.
Ben did, yep.
All right, Larson,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Grundy,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Horton,
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
All right. East Grand Forks Area Child Care Fund, Northwest Minnesota Foundation update.
Carla and I met with Brianna Kyle from the city and Diane Stordahl from the school district and Dawn Ganji from Northwest Minnesota Foundation a few days ago. Did I include in here the agreement?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. We have prepared, they have prepared an agreement to set up the East Grand Forks Area Child Care Fund, which will be part of the Northwest Minnesota Foundation. And this is informational for you. There's no action that's required by the city. It'll be a fund that is controlled by the Northwest Minnesota Foundation. We set up the fund review, the review committee. It includes all of yourselves, plus Carla, myself, and Diane Stordahl from the school district, and Ann Hullab, who's been another member of our team, and works with the permitting and assisting child care facilities, so she is in a good position to understand what the needs are too. This will go to the Northwest Minnesota Foundation at their Friday meeting for approval. Until that happens, you can make contributions to the Northwest Minnesota Foundation by way of the city. Starting next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday is what I would anticipate, you'll be able to make contributions directly to the Northwest Minnesota Foundation. They will handle all the tax receipts and everything for the funds. We need to have seed dollars of $5,000, so if somebody feels generous, we would love to see you submit a check for $5,000 to prepare to create the seed money for this fund. I know it's not rattling around in my head.
That seed money then becomes part of the endowed part of the fund?
No, the seed money can be tapped into it until we get up to approximately $100,000. We will not have enough money really to do an endowment. You need about $100,000 before you have enough earnings on the fund to be able to do an endowment, an endowed fund.
But they do require us to become an endowed fund, right?
No. If we get to 100,000, we can become endowed, but there will be three different parts, Diane. Part of the dollars could be endowed, part of the dollars will be targeted, and part of the dollars will be generally available. Okay?
My understanding is that's part of the fund advisory board, right, on how we're going to do that, which we're supposed to be a part of.
Yes.
So then I have another question too, in terms of procedurally, then there can only be so many economic development members at any of those funding meetings, I'm
would
assuming?
presume that what we will do is we will hold it on the same day as an EDA meeting, and it'll be held at the conclusion of the EDA meeting, because we do have to do it as a public meeting, that's right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood that correctly, so.
That's what I anticipate, because we can't sit as a quorum.
Oh.
If you disagree, let me know, and I can
I mean,
ask-
I wouldn't have a problem if, there were a couple people that you know, if there needed to be a meeting outside of this, like we've done before with other subcommittees and stuff, of sending somebody else. But that was one of the procedural things I noticed that would probably come up in this.
That is an option that we could do. We did it because the whole ADA has been so interested in this area that we just included it. And it's the East Grand Forks area because the boundaries are coterminous with those of the school district, by the way.
Okay.
Can I ask, what's the messaging? How are we going to get this spread?
That is something we will work with Northwest Minnesota Foundation. Since
They're
they
going to take the
receive
lead on
dollars.
that? Okay.
Since they receive the dollars, they help us with the requests for additional dollars, and they help with the messaging. So it's something that, because they're doing it, we can tap into their resources for things like that.
How do you ever get to an endowment if you take the money and give it away?
Because it may be that
It's an
we get
accounting question.
a request. Faster. We could get a bequest, for example, that would be $100,000. That would be a chunk of money that comes at one time. We could have a foundation or somebody be generous and provide $100,000. So
Isn't it $10,000 that they require for an endowment? Because if I look under 11, minimum requirements.
they require a minimum of $10,000, but if you don't go with $100,000 as
You
a
don't have any
practical
money.
matter,
Yeah, there's
you
no
don't
money.
have enough
To do anything.
revenues coming off of the proceeds of the fund to pay for, to be able to use any of the money.
Part of it is that Northwest Minnesota actually has lots of money, other people, and that's just their procedures, but our intent is to get the money and spend the money to give to those that are needed for childcare. You know, if somebody wanted to give us $100,000, we could endow it, then, you know, it could be, you know, keep going for year to year, but, you know, our intent is to let them spend, but we just have to follow their rules for any funds.
Is it also our intent that if we would apply for a grant in some, outside of the Northwest Minnesota Foundation, it would run through their 501c3?
I would expect, remember the money that First Children's Finance had available? I would expect that we would work with them so the money could go into the foundation and then be distributed through ourselves, through our review, and go out to businesses that way. Northwest Minnesota Foundation requires their money be spent within a certain time frame, so that would be the monies that would first be targeted for expenditures. One of the other things that we're going to have to do, and we need to do this at our February meeting, is set up the procedures for how we receive grants. So that'll be a meeting after our normal EDA meeting that day. Okay. Carl, did you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. All right, down payment assistance program.
Yes, we had a lot of conversation about that.
Hey, can I back up just 1 second?
Yes,
sir.
We're talking about grants, so if we're getting grants from someplace, we wouldn't be putting it in this foundation, we would be establishing something else so that we can spend it ourselves as opposed to having them tell us where it can be spent?
Well, we're the ones who are going to be deciding where it's going to be spent.
Not necessarily according to that contract.
I would think with the First Children's
Discretion.
Finance, that money would
Upon
not
them.
go there. This
Well-
would be for those that make donations, but the First Children's Finance, that's a whole
We could
different
probably
kind
do
of
that
grant.
internally, yes, Ron,
Yeah.
so that
No.
we could do it ourselves. But then we'd have the procedure set up with this group to review it, and do the expenditures.
Want to step up and do that, Ron?
No. I just remember, I had a bunch of these questions because it was going through my head, 2 different programs. And this program allows Northwest Minnesota Foundation at their sole discretion to use the funds wherever they would like according to the parameters. And if you're going to get separate grants that the city could use and make decisions on their own on where they would like them, if you put it into this if you put it into this program, then though we would be able to have input, it's still at their sole discretion on where the funds go and could be outside of the city of East Grand Forks. Would have to be within the school district, but it could be outside the city of East Grand Forks. So that's kind of where my whole head was going when I was reading all of this stuff.
And we could actually, for First Children's Finance, they could apply for one that goes outside the city, and we could apply for one that's solely within the city, too. So there could be two
And we would
applications.
use the same kind of procedure we did with the CARES dollars, where they have to, but
Yeah.
there is another round coming for the First Children's Finance in March, because there was one in the fall.
Yeah.
For potential daycare centers or home child care centers to get some funding for capital improvements, things like that, and that'll be out in March. And we have spoke to some businesses that, there's a couple of churches that we've spoke to that were kind of interested in it and just thought that they wouldn't be able to do it, so we've been working with them to see if their building committee has any interest, if their congregation has interest, but we have spoke to a couple of them that there are some interests. We probably just have to speak to them again and remind them that, it's coming in March, so, if you're interested, let us know if we can help you.
The nice thing to note is that since the town hall meeting that we had last spring, Carl, if I remember correctly, there are 5 child home care centers that have opened since then. So
Yes.
at a maximum of 15 each, that's up to 75 children that can be in child care where there was not space available previously.
And we have heard the process to get license is very slow.
Yes,
There has been some frustration with that.
particularly when you have to get state licensing.
Yeah, which
Local
is-
licensing
yeah.
works faster.
Yeah, so a home
Yeah.
daycare only is local, where a daycare center is state, which takes much longer.
Okay.
Can we go forward now instead of going backwards?
No, I have one more question.
We're not done.
Do we need to do anything on this foundation for childcare? Because you have a recommendation that we agree to serve. Do we have to make note of it?
Oh, yeah, you guys, is it okay that you want the whole group to serve? That's all. I hear a consensus that it is. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Back to the down payment?
We'll try it again, yeah.
Okay.
On December 9th, the committee met to discuss the program and effective ways to use the funds that are set aside in the city's current program. The committee concluded that based upon the comments from the lenders and the lack of usage, there was no need, should have been no need, I left out a word, to continue the program on a city level. Simply, the committee found that there are many other ways to access funds for down payment assistance. City program duplicates other programs, provides no additional benefit to potential users. Then the committee discussed how to use the monies in ways that can benefit East Grand Forks residents or potential residents to promote homeownership and construction. Discussed a lot of different options. We could reinstitute the home buyer program, provided a forgivable loan, but that program was discontinued because it failed to deliver the desired results. Could buy down interest rates. The program is difficult to administer. Another option was to reduce the prices for the lots owned by the city and use the money that's in that account to reduce the price of the lots. The committee decided a price reduction would be the best option. It will help to sell the remaining lots, the remaining inventory, and it would also reduce the cost of maintenance for the remaining lots, that's mowing and property taxes. And it would likely recoup the special sooner. Based upon the current balance in the fund, the price reduction would be approximately $9,000 per lot. Committee also decided that lots 10 and 11 in Water's Edge First, Block 2, should be sold as one lot because of where the In particular, because of where the utility easement is, the pipeline easement that goes across the one lot, it would be more effective to sell that as one lot. And they want to remind everybody that the twin home lots in Water's Edge Second, there are 2 lots remaining, lots 1 and 2, should be sold as 1 unit as opposed to 2. When we looked at the price for lots 10 and 11, the combined price is $97,300, and when the 2 lots are priced together, that is awfully high. So I suggested a reduced price to $69,999, putting it below $70,000. The 9,000 lots, $9,000 reduction would be applied once to the combined lots to reduce the price to the $69,999. So the price would be basically $78,999 less than $9,000. And there would only be one $9,000 applied to the twin home lots. So you don't get it $9,000 off of each lot. Lot 7, Block 1 in Water's Edge First, that's the large lot, would not be included. It would not, the $9,000 would not be applied to Cooley View because there are no specials on those lots, on that lot. We did not discuss when to apply the reduction. It could be an upfront discount on the price or a rebate after purchase. And what I'd like to suggest to you that we consider a rebate after purchase, because then it becomes part of the equity and increases the amount of people that people can have down on their home when they're trying to get their construction loan and buy the home. That's just my thoughts. So, you're thinking, Justin.
I got a question, Paul.
Okay.
Go back to the no reduction on the 9,000 in Cooley View because no specials, and the Water's Edge First. No price reduction. In Cooley View, is that because there are no water and service there now?
No, it was paid for a different way.
It was paid for a different way.
It was paid for a different way, so there are no specials on that.
Okay, that's great. Because if we were going to put that, there is, obviously, that cost would go to the homeowner.
No,
so
it makes sense. Good question.
Okay.
There were no specials on those lots. They were paid for a different way.
Block 1 does not have any service to it at this point, I don't believe.
The big lot?
Does that have?
No, we know where the service will come from, but there's no service to that lot, and that'll be part of the construction, the development of that lot.
Yep.
And it's anticipated there'll be 10 or more homes actually built on that lot, so the cost will be spread among those 10 homes. There are about, I want to say, $16,000 of specials that apply to that lot right now, in total.
So there are specials on that lot?
Yeah.
Which should be split up again, though.
Yep.
Well, what it amounts to is when we sell that lot, they'll be included in the sale price.
Gotcha.
So that there will be new specials on it for whatever improvements occur,
Right.
but it'll be included in the special.
Essentially, when we looked at it, that really didn't fit what we were trying to accomplish, because that lot is really going to end up being developed into multiple homes. That's not for, this was more targeted to the lots that we want to sell now and
Sure.
get them off the books.
I guess my only thought on Block 1, and I like everything else that's on here, was just whoever comes in and develops that is going to have a pretty good chunk of change to do it. Why not incentivize that like you're doing the rest? But that's just my opinion.
What my thoughts
Is it enough
were,
of an incentive, though?
That was where when we had talked about it, I couldn't come up with enough of an incentive to make it worthwhile for somebody to do with what we had available.
Sure.
I mean, the biggest thing that we saw, and it was pointed out a couple of times, is that dropping the prices on these lots really do make them look very, very competitive with across the river.
well, it just increases how valuable and how inexpensive our lots are, and if we do it as a rebate, then it creates additional equity already into the lot. The other thing is it opens the door, because we've never discussed how to deal with a large lot, but it opens the door in case we want to discuss different pricing on that lot too.
Yeah.
Right now, it's set up at, I think it's 10 at $12,000 each. So that would be 120 plus 16,000, between 16 and 17. So the lot price on that lot is about $136,000 to $137,000. But that gives the city flexibility on what it wants to do with the lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have something, Ron?
Just
Smoke is coming out of your
Yeah,
ears.
no, I was just thinking, what Mr. Black indicated, we're actually not, well, if it's a rebate program, we're actually not reducing the price of the lot. What we're doing is we're setting up some type of a program that says, you buy this, and once it's paid for, or during, we're gonna give you a $9,000, you do with what, you know, to put it into that program. So I was just curious how we're gonna market that.
I'd personally like to see it off the top of the price.
That was kind of my thought too, is I thought originally when we talked about it, that's what I was thinking, I guess. But I didn't think about the other side of it too, on it allows them to apply for more money if they want it to, I didn't think about that portion
But do
of
the
it.
banks take the lot into consideration for equity if they're going for a construction loan?
Well, you're going for your permanent loan, it'll be part of the equity for your permanent loan too.
It'd be almost considered
Right.
like a down payment, even
But on the
9,000.
if you buy the lot and then you're going for a construction loan, I don't think they're gonna take the lot into effect for equity for how much you can borrow.
I agree with you on
Construction
that.
part. So I look at it as if we lower their input into it right away, that helps people up front, and we know it's going towards that rather than, I don't know, I guess I look at it as in a rebate, they can just take it and go do whatever they want with it. I guess they're getting the money back either way. I would like to see the reduction up front and maybe see that enticing number that it looks a lot cheaper right away.
And I think that's what I liked about what you had talked about when we were discussing that, was the enticing number up front. I mean, the worst that could happen, my thought was, the worst that could happen after a year, we don't sell anything and this didn't work, and then we're back to the drawing board figuring out something else.
Well,
If
I
you
guess
if you look at the numbers that are on there and you look at a lot going from 38,650 down to 29,600, I mean, if somebody's actually looking at those numbers and looking at another comparable lot or something somewhere, that's gonna jump off the paper. It should. Because at the 38, we're probably already cheaper than other lots, and now another $9,000 less than that. Hopefully that'll make people go, why would we not buy that lot and build there? It's that much cheaper to start with. Rather than still looking at a higher price and go, yeah, but they're still gonna give us $9,000 back at some time. And then people just have to wait for the process and the checks and.
I'm open to whatever.
And what we
Just an
could do is
idea.
we set it up so that we have a check available for them at closing. I mean, Ron tells us when they're closing. You know, we've done that for other ones. I need a check to cover this, and that, so.
I personally don't care.
Okay.
I just didn't know how we were gonna market it, if it was going to be a reduction in the lot, or if it was gonna be a rebate, because those would be handled in two different fashions.
Oh, sure.
And then the other thing that you're gonna wanna do then is get a hold of, when it shows up on the MLS, show that there's been a price reduction from 38,000 to 29,000.
Right.
So it actually has some meaning. Otherwise, I'm just gonna look at the MLS and go, oh, there's a lot for 29,000.
I totally.
It doesn't really show that it had any reduction or benefit.
And that's where we work with the realtors to make sure that it's.
Okay, so my question on that is, if we do that as a reduction in price, will the people that bought the lots be upset, why are you reducing the prices, where some of them got that incentive? Where if we kept it as like a rebate or an incentive, then it's not like we're giving a benefit to somebody else now that we didn't 5-10 years ago.
I think you're gonna have some of that
We're
no matter.
going to have some of that, but I
There's
just thought we
always-
might
there's always
eliminate.
buyer's
You might
remorse in the
eliminate
housing
some, because
market
we
at some
did give
point.
the 5, we used to give the 10, now we gave it
But
5.
we talked about this too. I remember 12, 13 years ago when we talked about this, when I was on this board to start with too. The first time we reduced the price in lots, we kind of came in and said the same thing. What are the people that are already built out there gonna think? And I think the consensus was that, hey, they got to pick first lot, they got their lot picked that they wanted and got to build where they want. And I don't know that we really heard anything about, well, hey, I didn't get to pay that for my lot, but that was,
Yeah, gotta.
I mean, I think we've reduced
That's the way it
these,
is.
since I've been on this board, however many years, I think we've reduced these, I think this is the third or fourth time. And that question has come up all the time, but I don't know that we've ever heard anything from the current residents out there that built.
I mean, also by getting those homes built,
We're doing them a favor.
We're doing them a favor. It's no longer an empty lot. And when you go to try to resell your home and someone goes, I don't know what's going to come in next door to me,
Right now you got comps, you got everything.
Because I think that was one
right.
of my very first initial questions 2 years ago.
Do we want to talk to somebody in banking or realty and ask,
I don't
what is
think
it
so.
better? No, I mean, for the equity, the part, if they do, would they get that 9,000 more on the equity then side or not? I mean, which way would benefit the buyer more?
I think really we just need to go after the marketing aspect of
Correct,
seeing
I
that
agree.
reduction at this point, because the way that
If they're
the
gonna
housing
build it,
market's
they'll-
going right now, I mean,
Exactly.
it's harder to get loans than it was. It's more expensive. I think seeing up front that, yeah, there's that reduction
Yep.
is gonna at least spur some more interest, get some more people looking at it.
Because
So
a big part of that reduction too is it depends on if somebody's financing their lot as well with the financing of a house, rather than just going out and buying a lot. And if somebody is just going and buying the lot, I think it makes it more feasible for somebody to buy the lot and still have cash available to show down payment for their loan for the home.
Remember, except for the $1,000 down program, we were requiring people to buy their lot up front. So they would have had to close on the lot up front. Only when a builder comes in and buys the lot for $1,000 down would there be a delay and a rebate for them. I'm open to whichever option. I brought that up because we didn't discuss it at the committee. So, but I'm open to either option, whatever is the sense of
Well,
the
a
committee.
lot of these, the contractor's buying the lot and then transferring it over.
Yep.
So then you're looking at you know,
Or like you did on mine, the quick claim.
So what we're saying is we're giving the benefit to the developer to start with too then, by taking it right off the top.
No, I think what you're saying is a lot of times the homeowner buys a lot and deeds it to the developer.
if
Correct.
that, or what'll end up happening is they'll go, Mr. Marcel,
Yeah.
you know, work this whole thing into my project and then we just you put the lot in their name and go, and they don't end up we don't get paid until either 1,000 or until the whole thing is paid off. The only thing that I was wanting to know is one or the other. Rebate program is gonna be handled differently than a price reduction.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, you guys, that's up to you.
Yeah, I'm open to either option. I just need your guidance which way we want to go.
Yeah, I
One
like
thing
the-
that excuse me, go ahead, Brian.
I like the price reduction.
I like that better myself.
I
So
think,
is that a motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion to amend this to include the price reduction rather than the rebate.
Okay. So no, you had something you wanted to add,
do
though.
you have a,
So
you
we
have to
got a
second.
motion, so
You have to
we'll
get a
second.
second.
Okay.
The thing that I was going to say about the rebate, it shows that the city is doing something. And it gives us a little
Yes.
visibility that the
Hey, we're working
EDA
on
is
this.
providing this support, so it shows the community what we're doing. When you do a price reduction, they don't know why we're doing that price reduction. They just know the price went down and they're going there because they couldn't sell the lot, so they brought the price down instead of that we had a fund that we used. And I support the price reduction. I'm just going to say there's some marketing pieces with the rebate that gave us a little bit of a
I
pat
think
on the
one
back.
problem that I see with that is that when the city's advertising that rebate, when somebody goes and buys a private lot, they might not really fully understand that it was only certain
Only for
lots.
this, okay,
We
good.
ran
Because
into
when we
that.
originally had the 10,000, it was any lot in town, not just city lots.
Right.
So somebody might have that in their mind of, hey, I bought one of Bob Peabody's lots, how come I didn't get my rebate?
I didn't get my rebate.
And
Yep.
then they're told that it doesn't apply to that lot, and then, well, if I'd have known that, I would have bought a different lot. You know, I think there can be some of that confusion because of how our rebate program used to work.
Correct.
And I do think the price reduction is just cleaner. It's just,
Well, and it's a marketing tool. I like it. So we got a motion by Mr. Larson, and it was seconded by Justin. Roll call, please.
Larson,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Blair,
yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Helm,
Yes.
Thank you.
Discussion, right? I just want to, we talked about an estimate of 9,000. We don't know for sure.
Right.
Until we adjust our interest earnings or losses to that account of what that dollar amount be. So I just want to make sure that we guessed at
That's not the
9,000, but it would probably be a little bit less. I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that.
Sure.
So what it amounts to is we have a certain number of lots, we'll take the amount, we just make the division.
In an accounting.
Whatever lots is left versus the amount of money we
Right.
have, we make the division. So it's going to be up, we're going to, since we're setting the lot prices, it's a little bit harder, but
Did we
I'll
need
work with
a,
Carla and we'll try to come up with something that works.
They did it like you and I do on the construction bid market.
Yeah, it's
Boom, boom,
about
boom, boom,
this.
boom. Now you put it into the column.
Now, the other thing is this will end up going to the city council. I'll take it to the work session, and then after the work session, it'll have to be approved by the city council.
Sure.
Ultimately.
did we also need to have any discussion on combining those two lots, 10 and 11, together?
No, it wasn't amended anyway.
Okay, I just wanted to,
Yeah, the only thing that was amended is the type of program.
okay,
Yeah,
just wanted to make sure.
good job on it.
I drove past those two lots, putting them together makes sense, because having them separate is, it's just not a, when you look at it, it just doesn't work very well.
The only thing that you do is when they, are you talking about the twin home?
No, not at the twin home. The one that's right there in the corner at the golf course
I
there.
agree with you there. I thought we were talking twin home, and you have separate lot lines.
Yeah, I had to drive by it after
You
we
have to
talked
buy
about
two
it that
lots
day, and it's
instead
just,
of one.
it's the way that it's set up, it's just hard to put two
In and out.
houses right there that make sense. One home makes a lot more
It's
sense.
like a cul-de-sac there.
Yeah, but it's just the way that the hill is there, and yeah, and then the egress that you have from the road.
And
not-
corner lot and all that.
Right, and it being a
All right,
corner lot, it's
let's,
just, it's not, there's not a lot of room there for something on that. Right.
We have not found.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta gain control back here, people.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to mowing contract.
Mowing contract. You know, we talked about it in November, and it was pointed out that the mowing height in the agreement would be greater than the maximum height for grasses and weeds allowed by city ordinance. I talked with the longtime contractor who responded with an email that I attached about the difficulty in complying. I also talked with the Public Works Director about using an application to kill the weeds. I hate automatic spelling, okay? The Public Works Director estimated they would need to do up to 3 applications per season at about $1,010 per application. Compliance with the height regulation will increase the frequency of mowing. In short, the money needed to mow will cost significantly more than the amount budgeted for the task. So therefore, we need to talk about how we want to approach this too. And we may have to, it may trigger the bidding requirements as well. Because
What was-
Go ahead.
What was the original height that they submitted?
it was 15 inches.
I think you're right.
Weeds, it's weeds
No.
up to 15.
Yeah, but what was grass?
10.
6.
Nope, it's right here.
Well, I think the city ordinance says you can't have grass longer than 6 inches.
Something like
Thought it
that.
was 6
Says
inches.
6.
Isn't it grass and weeds? Grass and weeds
Grass and weeds.
at 6 inches.
It says 6, and then this was gonna be higher.
That was what they submitted.
And I guess the other option is if this information that's provided from a contractor is accurate, then you may want to present that to city council to see if they're gonna let you grow the grass and weeds higher.
I have a question.
You know, so you would have an amendment to the ordinance.
Have we ever received a complaint in this area?
That's what I was gonna ask.
So,
Sorry?
have we ever received a complaint in this area about the length of the grass?
We receive complaints
Yeah.
that it's above the 15 inches. Okay? We rarely receive any complaints about the 6 inch.
If it's above, okay, so
Not
I guess my
not a
question
lot.
goes back to,
On a residential lot, where a person has a house, yes, there will be complaints on that. Nancy lets me know when somebody's saying the grass is too tall on one of the lots where there's no house, and that's at the 15-inch level, and it's cut back down. And if I remember correctly, the contractor cuts it to about 10 inches to give about 5 inches to grow.
His bid cuts it to 5 inches.
Okay,
I'm looking
5.
at it right here, and won't let the grass get taller than 10, weeds to 15.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I would think you'd get more complaints on weeds.
for sure.
Yeah, you do.
Like in what he said in his email, and I agree with Mr. Stordahl that if you're mowing lower, the weeds are going to get more out of control. And then the
Exactly.
city's going to spend more money to spray and try kill weeds. I was kind of going the same place you were. If we haven't had a lot of complaints out there, I think we kind of allow the bid in this area. And the biggest reason for that is reading through his emails, something I didn't think about either, is that these aren't landscaped lots.
They're uneven.
The ruts that are out there, the lower they go with their mowers, the more
The worse
they're
it's
going to
gonna get.
damage their mowers. They're going to,
And the more dirt we open up for more weeds.
when you're having to lower your mower decks, you're going to ruin blades, you're going to ruin decks. They're mowing lots that haven't been flattened out compared to a actual homeowner's lot that is landscaped, smooth. I kind of agree. I don't want him busting up his equipment to have to
No.
mow either.
No, we tractor mow a bunch of residential lots in Grand Forks right now, as a business, and our mowers don't get below 5 inches. I can tell you that. They're probably cutting at a 7-inch right now in Grand Forks, and we don't have any problems.
That's just the way them decks are designed.
And it's because of exactly what he said in his email about the unevenness of the lots, and these are not yards, they're lots. So it's different that's where I would draw a difference to the city ordinance, is these are not yards,
Right.
they're lots.
Yeah, I think the issue is that I think the city ordinance doesn't differentiate between lots and yards. It
Right.
just has grass height and that's it.
Right.
Grass and weeds lumped together, actually. So getting back to it is maybe or this group presents to them, maybe we modify that weed ordinance to differentiate between residential
Landscape lots and
Compared to,
Yeah.
And we do it now with the
Developed,
dike,
undeveloped,
right,
however you
Ron?
guys
I mean,
wanna
we
put it.
differentiate the dike.
But yes, I mean, even if we don't say we do, we do.
We do,
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm just
yeah.
playing devil's advocate because we're
Okay.
giving a contract to somebody that violates our own ordinance. So a person might want to.
I don't think they call it devil's advocate, they call it attorney. Pretty sure.
That is a devil's advocate.
Is there a difference?
I just can't I can't,
So that was the only thing I brought up, and it wasn't necessarily that we should be modifying it downwards, but we should be looking at the ordinance to determine how we
Yes.
want to handle it.
Because like you say,
Let me-
7
let me-
inches if you're lucky.
Because I said the same thing to the city.
Let me work with Ron
Please.
for a modification, and then we can take that. Do you want me to bring that back, or just take it through the city council? And
I would think taking it through the city council makes the most amount of sense, because, I mean, I think we're making this more complicated than it has to be, and we're trying to comply with the ordinance that the city has in place, and we just would like a little bit better clarification on that ordinance.
Yes.
I think a good rule of thumb to follow would be, I know Public Works has a parameter set up for our dike system. Follow that, because that's what this is. I mean, this is the same kind of mowing structure that should be on the city dikes.
And Parks and Recs for the mowing
Yeah.
that they do as well.
but even everything that they mow is probably flatter and in better shape than an undeveloped lot that these guys are mowing.
Let me work with Ron.
Okay.
We'll
So
do
let
something
me
to
ask,
Take it to city
can we,
council.
if we're gonna look at potentially amending the ordinance of what it reads and how it says on something, can we still go forth and approve their original bid?
We don't have to do it today,
I would say let's wait until this is amended.
Okay.
okay?
Otherwise, we're going to play the attorney devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only look at it as that they've been doing it for 20 years already and we haven't.
But we're
had an issue.
protecting them too by doing
Yeah.
what we want to do too.
I just didn't know if they need an answer. If they're if it has to do with equipment, or they have to purchase equipment, or more equipment, or
But you
different.
brought up something that it might have to go out on bid.
If we.
If we reach a certain
Change,
level.
if we change the ordinance, it'll be under the bid requirements.
Okay, that's-
If we don't change the ordinance, I think I'll have to talk to Carla to see whether it's quote or bid that we have to go into, because it'll be over 10,000.
Two quotes, because it's 25,000.
Yeah. Well, we may end up hitting the $25,000 threshold if we don't change the regulations.
I was thinking if he does it twice as much, it's 16,000, so.
So, anyhow, that's
Okay.
where we're at right now. Let me
So
work with
that's-
Ron, we'll get something, and we'll just bring back the money.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Grand Forks Herald Growth and Opportunity Special Section, January 28th, half-page advertising with a newly designed ad.
Yes, we have reduced the size of the ad to a half page, and because it's more economic for us and recognizing the issues that we're facing, I didn't want to put extra strain on the budget. So, we're reducing it. I'm working with Sarah Praska, who's an East Sider, to redesign the ad so that we can move forward with that. That's coming up at the end of the month. It's the last Saturday of the month, I think it is, when it's going to be in the newspaper. Okay?
Okay. 2023 Forks Spring Expo, March 25th, 26th of 2023. EDA and Water and Light will participate. Director will be unable to participate.
Just reminding you that I think I sent out an email after last time, and I need to know who can basically figure on 2-hour blocks, who can do what on Saturday and who can do what on Sunday.
For me, it's still a little bit far out for me to be able to make any commitment, but it's,
Well, they're going to ask me who needs to get the bands, the wristbands. That's why I'm asking now, but it's something to think about, okay? And if I keep putting it on here, it'll remind you too.
Have it on my calendar now.
You can even do more than 2 hours if you want to.
We'll see. Yeah, some things up in the air on that, but yeah.
Advertising our reduced price lots, right?
That's one of the things.
I've done it.
huge, yeah.
I've done it in the
Wires
past.
down
It can be kind of fun meeting a lot of different people. So,
And we still have some of those notebooks available too.
Ooh.
Move adjournment.
Little ones this big?
We got a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a
second.
motion.
All in
Oh, did
favor?
Diane
I
already?
already did it.
Who made the second?
All opposed?
Who made the second?
Daniel. Ben tried to.
I tried to get in there, couldn't get
But
in.
I beat him.
Sure.